The island country of Japan can be found in the Northwest Pacific Ocean. It's become a cultural influence to nations all across the world. One of our favorite things to learn about are the interesting animals that live there. Because so many of these smaller islands in Japan are remote, it's home to a large amount of endemic and endangered animals. But before we begin, be sure to hit the like button to help us out. It takes just a second. Now, here are 10 unusual animals only found in Japan. Number 10. Sado shrew. The Sado shrew is an endemic animal. That means that you can only find it in Japan. Specifically, you can only find it on the Sado Islands. While it's technically considered to be a subspecies of the Shinto shrew, many scholars consider it to be its own animal. This tiny little animal is a type of long-clawed shrew. It catches and eats fish, though you might not guess such a thing just by looking at it. They live along the beds of streams and other small flowing bodies of water. The Sado shrew only grows to be 4 inches long. That means they can easily fit in the palm of your hand. Sado Island is one of Japan's largest islands. Between the size and the remote location of the island, it gives creatures like the Sado shrew a better chance at survival. Their biggest threat is the introduction of feral cats into the area, a problem that plagues many of Japan's otherwise remote islands. Number 9. Sado mole. Another animal endemic to the Sado Islands of Japan is the Sado mole. This mole is sometimes referred to as Tokudo's mole. It's facing a high risk of extinction in the wild. Despite the low numbers, or some say because of them, not much is known about this species of mole. They live in groups called labors and raise their pups together. Like other moles, the Sado mole is technically blind. It uses long whisker-like nodules on the front of its face to tell its surroundings apart, and its large shovel-shaped hands to dig and burrow through the dirt. Their fur has a velvety texture that's almost never found in surface animal pelts, which makes it easier for the moles to move underground. Surprisingly enough, they're carnivorous. They eat earthworms and other small invertebrates. Number 8. Japanese macaque. The Japanese macaque is one of the most well-known animals from the region. They're known as the snow monkey and are considered to be an old-world monkey species. These animals live in regions where snow blankets the earth for months at a time, something that no other non-human primate does. Their brown-gray fur only makes the pink of their face stand out that much more, and against the frigid backdrop of their homelands. The Japanese macaque casts a striking and, at times, a haunting image. Japanese macaques are excellent swimmers. Females stay in their birth group for life, while males will leave once they hit sexual maturity in search of their own group. They are incredibly social animals. The females of the group will collectively work together to raise their young. They have no major threats, but oddly enough, they're considered to be a threat to the livestock of farmers, and some 10,000 Japanese macaques are killed as a result every year. Number 7. Anami rabbit. Despite its rather common appearance, the Anami rabbit has 3 names. Anami, of course, is the official name, but it's also known as Anami kuro usagi and the Ryukyu rabbit. This species is endemic to Anami Oshima and Tokunoshima, 2 small islands between southern Kyushu and Okinawa. It's often called a living fossil and is a direct relative to a species of now extinct ancient rabbits from the Japanese mainland. These species of rabbit is considered to be a Japanese national treasure, and yet the introduction of the mongoose to its habitat still has its numbers dropping. The Anami rabbit has a bit of an odd appearance. It's known for having a short, dark fur and exceptionally small ears. It also has a small, stocky body with equally stocky limbs. It's easy to visually tell the Anami rabbit apart from the other native rabbit species found around Japan. Number 6. Ryukyu long-tailed giant rat. Another animal found only in the Ryukyu Islands of Japan is the Ryukyu long-tailed giant rat. While that name might have you squirming away, the animal in question is far cuter than any rats you might find in your backyard. An influx of feral cats in the region, paired with logging in the forest that it calls home, has set their numbers back by a significant amount. The Yanbaru Forest is a designated wildlife protection area. Not only can you find many of the Ryukyu long-tailed rats in this area, but you can also find roadside signs that warn you about going too fast and remind you that it's a long-tailed rat crossing area. Hey, we're about halfway through the video. If you're still with us, comment Japan down below. Number 5. Iromo Remote cat. We've got a trend of endemic animals going, and we're not about to break it now. Located only on the island of Remote is the Remote cat. This is a critically endangered leopard cat. It's suspected that there are only around 100 still remaining in the wild. A true shame, because their dusky markings are lovely and found on no other feline in the world. This leopard cat is the size of a domestic house cat, rarely exceeding 10 pounds. A big difference from their 200-pound African cousins, don't you think? Unlike some other species of wild cats, the Remote cat has no problems getting wet. They can just as often be found climbing trees as they can be spotted swimming in water. They're most active in the twilight hours and sleep in caves during the bright daytime. Number 4. Japanese dwarf flying squirrel. The Japanese dwarf flying squirrel might be one of the few endemic species on this list that isn't also critically endangered. In fact, these old-world flying squirrels are actually a popular pet at the moment. The membranes attached to their arms allow them to glide from tree to tree, and their small size, only around 8 inches, and large dark eyes make them very cute, a very fun little critter to be around. A full-grown Japanese dwarf flying squirrel can glide for as far as 100 meters at a time. In the wild, their numbers are largest on the Honshu and Kyushu islands. They line their nests with moss and lichen, which are made in the cavities of pine and spruce trees. Number 3. Japanese marten. From a dark cream to a near yellow, the Japanese marten is a stunning creature to look at. These creatures are most often found in valley regions or in large, broad-leaf forests. If there are enough trees around, they've even been known to move into suburban areas. The north of the Hokkaido region and some of the smaller islands are the only areas in Japan where this beautiful marten can't be located. Many of the fleshy fruits in this region rely on the Japanese marten to spread their seed. As some of the local bird and bat populations have decreased as a result of logging, the Japanese marten has carried the spreading of the seed of native fruits through the region. Number 2. Tushishima cat. Another endemic leopard cat is the Tushishima cat. There is no telling how many of these animals still exist in the wild. That's how reclusive they are. In fact, it's only through the location of their droppings and footprints that we're able to tell they still exist at all. As its name implies, the only place it can be located is on the island of Tushima. They are about the size of a domestic cat, but a little more slender and have longer legs and better defined webs between their toes. Their heads are usually marked with 2 prominent dark stripes and a small and skinny white muzzle. These small leopard cats have a fuller face than their cousins on Remote Island. Sadly, it's been thought that they have vanished completely from the southern side of the island as the numbers continue to decline. You're nearly at the end of our video. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed. That way you'll always be notified of our future videos. Number 1. Misaki horse. Last but certainly not least is the Misaki horse. This is one of the 8 native Japanese horse breeds. Like many other Japanese horse breeds, the Second World War decimated the population of this beautiful species, but luckily a few survived and continued living in their native region. Because of this, the species is considered critically endangered and lives as a feral horse in a designated national monument on Cape Toy. It's considered to be a Japanese national treasure. These horses, or rather ponies is more accurate, run wild in the region. Their slender legs might not look like they can support that stocky body, but just wait until you see them gallop. Like many wild horse breeds, there are no specific colors that the Misaki horse does or doesn't come in, although they are most often seen in darker shades of chestnut and bay. Hey, thanks for watching. Want to suggest a video or have something to say? Let us know in the comment section below. Check out our wildlife playlist for more videos like this one.